What's more important this year if you're a 49er fan? Is it getting to the Super Bowl or is it finding out who your quarterback is?
Oh, it's winning a Super Bowl.
Okay.
And
is that going to happen?
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to but what they've said, Kyle Shanahan, George Kittle, Aaron Armstead mentioned that, hey, there's 6 or 8 teams with a chance at a Super Bowl and we're one of them. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. The quarterback situation will play itself out.
It's so hard for me to wrap my head around a team having Super Bowl aspirations and not knowing who the quarterback is. It's wild to me. Like, and I understand it's a case study. It's an interesting case study because Kyle Shanahan and this team is so damn stacked. And what Brock Purdy did last year was unbelievable. I want to see him do it again. And I don't think it's that crazy to just have that mindset. I think that's just where a lot of the national media is at too. It's like, okay, let's see you do it again, Brock, after elbow surgery for a guy who's small, Mr. Irrelevant, and kind of had limited arm strength going into the draft as it is. Now you have surgery on that arm. I want to see it again.
I'm going to get back to Brock Purdy in just a second because I think there's something there with Brock Purdy. We'll get right back to him. But Tyler Miller, Trey Lance made a throw to Danny Gray last year in the preseason that no 49ers quarterback has made in almost a decade. And folks will make excuses for it being preseason. Remember the deep ball Danny Gray to preseason? It was beautiful.
Again, the arm.
A year after throwing the deep ball to Trent Sherfield, rolling out to his left, setting up, launching it 50 yards across the field. So it's funny because nobody said anything about that Danny Gray throw. But what was funny was 2 weeks later when they played the Houston Texans in the preseason game, and he had a backup offensive line, and they got it, one possession, maybe 2? Everybody went crazy. Yeah. Everybody went insane over a preseason game. So it's like we pick and choose what we want to get outraged about.
I completely even forgot about that Texans preseason game. You're right.
Everybody went crazy over that.
That's right.
But leading up to that, it's just preseason. It's okay. But when it came to Trey Lance, it was, oh boy, this is not good. This is not good. He's not ready to go. He's not ready. Well, it is what it is now. Brock Purdy's your starting quarterback. And again, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with Brock Purdy being the starting quarterback to start the season off. We'll see how his elbow holds up. He had a rest day yesterday. The pads come on today. He'll take all the reps with the ones. But here's Mike Sandel's quarterback tiers in The Athletic. Comes out with this every single year. And he had Brock Purdy in Tier 4. Tier 4, all the voters. He got 23 votes for Tier 3, 26 votes for Tier 4.
And what is Tier 4?
For Tier 1.
And what is Tier 4, real quick, Bonte?
And Tier 4 is Tier 4 quarterback could be an unproven player, not enough information for voters to classify, or a veteran who ideally would not start all 17 games. So Brock would fit in that unproven player category, although a lot of people say, well, he proved himself.
I'm just laughing because it feels like the 49ers quarterback position is just locked into Tier 4 forever. It's just a quarterback, an unproven player, not enough information for voters. It's great. That's just what this is for Kyle Shanahan.
Now, you want to ruffle some feathers.
Oh, boy.
Tier 3, Mac Jones, Ryan Tannehill, Justin Fields, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tua Tagovailoa, Russell Wilson, Jared Goff, Derek Carr, and Kyler Miller. Or, excuse me, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray. I'm thinking Tyler Miller.
There you go.
Kyler Murray. Say his name so damn much. Kyler Murray, 13 overall.
Are you taking? So it's funny. If you poll 49ers fans, I guarantee you, they're all taking Brock Purdy over every one of those guys.
Jimmy, yeah, absolutely.
Every one. I'm saying every one of them. Maybe Kyler if he's healthy. Maybe.
So, do you think Brock Purdy's too low? Now, listen to these offensive coaches. When I looked at him, one offensive coach said, when I looked at him, I thought he was a 4. But when you watch the kid play, he's an absolute gamer. He has the intangibles, the moxie, the want to, the leadership. And he was in an ideal situation, no doubt. Shanahan is a play caller, elite defense, blah, blah, blah. But Purdy played well. I give him that. Purdy had my jaws dropped, especially against Tampa Bay. But here's what another offensive coach said. If you put Purdy on any other team, they lose more than half the games. They've got the best rushing offense, the top defense, and he doesn't make mistakes. He makes some plays with his legs, gets the ball out. Good for him. But he said they would lose half the games. So I'm not sure if I believe that anymore when I look at who's in Tier 3.
Yeah, half the games is tough. Like, I feel like a lot of those guys in that tier are already going to struggle this upcoming season a little bit. Like, I look at, for example, they have Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's just use them, right? He's going to Las Vegas. He has some weapons there. You got Devontae. We'll see what happens with Josh Jacobs. You got Jacoby Myers. You got Hunter Renfrow. And you got a decent offensive line. If I plugged Brock Purdy into Vegas right now, how many more wins do they have? I don't know. Maybe the same. Maybe one more. But I think that's the point. Is he going to really elevate the team? Like, if I put Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert,
right.
and I'm not trying to compare those. Like, those are generational talents. But that's what we're talking about here. When we're talking about a franchise quarterback, you're looking at least for that, or at least 1 or 2 wins, a la, this is my guy again, Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott. Like, those are the next tier above the tier 3. Those are the guys you're hoping Brock becomes this season. See, I think a lot of Niner fans are thinking, I think what Brock showed in the 8 games last season, he should be in that tier 3, or at least in that tier 2, because I think there's fans taking Brock Purdy over Kirk Cousins, who's in tier 2. I think they're taking him over Matt Stafford. I think they're taking him over Dak Prescott, where I would say, let's pump the brakes a little bit. If the Niners had Dak Prescott as their quarterback or Matt Stafford, I think they're NFC favorites, or at least on par with the Eagles, who are just there.
So tier 1 is Mahomes. This is a great point, Spadoni. Mahomes, Burrow, Josh Allen, Rodgers, and Justin Herbert, who I wouldn't have in tier 1. I would have him in tier 2. But he's got.
And again,
talent.
if you're just joining us, this is Mike Sando,
Mike Sando,
the
athletic. His quarterback tiers, his rankings that he does every single year.
And a tier 1 is a tier 1 quarterback can carry his team each week. The team wins because of him. He expertly handles pure passing situations. He has no real holes in his game. See, that's the one key thing right there. The team wins because of him.
Yes.
And that's the interesting thing.
Let me ask this question. 888-957-9570. Do the Niners have a tier 2 quarterback on their roster? A tier 2 quarterback can carry his team sometimes, but not as consistently. He can handle pure passing situations in doses or possesses other dimensions that are special enough to elevate him above tier 3. He has a hole or two in his game. But there's Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, and I'll even throw Brendan Allen in there.
God bless
Any
you.
of these guys have tier 2 capabilities. 888-957-9570, Brock Purdy. I mean, look, I tell you right now, Spadoni, when I'm looking at tier 3, and I go down the list here, Niner fans could chime in on this. Tier 3 starts with Kyler Murray at 13, Derek Carr at 14, Jared Goff at 15, Russell Wilson at 16, Tua Tagovailoa at 17, 18 Jimmy Garoppolo, 19 Daniel Jones, 20 Geno Smith, 21 Justin Fields, 22 Ryan Tannehill, 23 Mac Jones. I'll say right now, I'm taking Brock Purdy over Ryan Tannehill. I'm taking it over Geno Smith. I'm taking him over Daniel Jones. I'm taking him over Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm taking him over Derek Carr.
Wow. See, that's an interesting one for me, Derek Carr, because he has the arm. It's always been the mentals with the Derek. Right. And I think at this stage in his career, that concerns you because you're trying to win a damn Super Bowl. And I don't know if I can have that in my quarterback going up against the likes of potentially a Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, or a Josh Allen. Like, that's the thing. Brock Purdy, that's going to be the next question that he has to pass from me. He just had major injury and a major surgery, Bonte. You think he'd be a little skittish heading into next year? You think that could happen? Because the guy you just mentioned, Derek Carr, he had major injury. I get it. It was a lower extremity.
The fibula.
He had the broken ankle, broken leg.
Fibula,
yeah. His lower extremity was compromised.
He wasn't the same for 3 years.
No, he's never been the same since that. He hasn't been. Yeah. He has never played at that MVP type of level again. Are we just assuming that Brock Purdy is going to be seamlessly going into week 1 at Pittsburgh question. And he's going to look fine? I'm not so sure. It's a question mark at the very least. The guy's played 8 games. And I think it's just, people think it's sacrilege just to speculate something like that. It's not. He could just have a sophomore slump for him. Hell, it's not even sophomore. He hasn't played a full season.
Can they afford a sophomore slump?
Who needs a better start? The Niners or the Warriors next year? You posed that last week. I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, well, boy, I don't even want to get.
I know you don't. I know.
No, but it's true. It's imperative for both these guys to start fast. I mean, you got 2 road games right off the rip. Pittsburgh and the Rams.
Pittsburgh's no joke.
And the Rams it's a divisional game, although Shanahan does own McVay in the regular season. Yeah. Playoffs a different story.
It's going to be interesting.
I don't know.
Kenny Pickett,
9570. Kenny Pickett, TJ Watt, Najee Harris, we'll see him. But Rob Ninkovich believes that the Niners are a threat as long as Purdy's healthy.
I do believe that they would be one of the biggest threats, if not the biggest threat, depending on the health at the quarterback position. And we see that every single year. A team that is really good with a great defense have one little hiccup and they lose somebody that's a key piece, and that really affects them. So I think if Brock Purdy can stay healthy, and listen, an elbow surgery is such a fickle part, especially at the quarterback position. It only takes one little tweak to where he's like, man, I'm sore this week. I can't do what I want to do out here. So hopefully, and that's for the 49ers' sake, he stays perfectly fine and goes through this training camp process where I guarantee he's on a pitch count. They're going to make sure he doesn't throw the ball too many times and gets to the season and is ready to go, because you still have another month and a half before they play a meaningful game. So yes, with a healthy 49ers roster and a Brock Purdy that can be at the helm healthy for 17 weeks, I do believe that they would be the team that would give the Eagles a run for their money.
All right, David Lombardi also mentioned about the slow-playing Brock Purdy. Here's what he said on Willard Dibbs.
The 49ers are actually slow-playing this in relation to everything else. The 49ers have said, even though this guy's fully cleared, we're going to give him every third day off from throwing. We're going to take what he was doing during his rehab, and we're going to extend that into the first 2 weeks of training camp just to play it safe. So I think, anybody saying that this is a rush back for Brock Purdy, that sounds like a really emotional judgment that's not tethered in reality, because the truth of the matter is the 49ers are slow playing this after Purdy's been cleared by a very renowned doctor.
Now, I don't know why Draymond Green thinks that we're hating on Brock Purdy. What the hell? What the hell is wrong with you? What is wrong with some of y'all?
It's just.
I just golly, 4 games in. You mentioned that Darnold. I mentioned first say, hey, Darnold's the best quarterback on the field today. Oh my God, you're convincing yourself start. No, nobody's not. We're just assessing practice. Nobody is hating on Brock Purdy. It's hard. He's a hard guy to hate on.
Yes.
He's a hard guy to hate on.
He's Mr. Irrelevant. He's an awesome story. He almost led the team to the Super Bowl last year.
Not only that, but he did take this offense to another level.
He did.
He deserves to start. I know what I felt at Levi Stadium when he was balling. I'm not going to hate on the kid. He made the throws deep. He got the ball out quick. Held a Dallas game, which was a body bag game. Brock Purdy saved his best for last and got the Niners key first downs with nice reads and nice quick slant throws. I'm not mad at Brock Purdy at all. Nobody's hating on him at all.
No. Well, and having said all that, I think it's fair, again, to speculate whether he could do it again after major arm surgery on his throwing elbow.
Not only that. Not only that.
Do they want us to be yes men? It's just weird to me. Like, I don't understand.
No, but how can we not be skeptics here about Brock Purdy after lighting it up for a short amount of time, and he did win a couple playoff games, when, damn it, Jimmy Garoppolo had this fan base feeling like he was the franchise quarterback.
Thank you. How can you
in 2017?
You can't not be a skeptic with Kyle Shanahan in the quarterback position. How many quarterbacks has he used? Bethard, Mullins, Lance, Garoppolo,
Brian
Purdy,
Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer. Am I missing someone in there?
Yeah.
Maybe Brandon Allen or Sam. Like, come on. Like, that's what we're talking about here. That's why it's so imperative that Kyle Shanahan figures out this quarterback position. Because, listen, if they're going into next season, Bonte, and they still don't know who the quarterback is,
right,
then I think is the conversation we had. It's like, okay,
right,
what are we doing here with Kyle?
No doubt.
Is this good?
No
and
doubt.
I understand it's early. You were just in the NFC Championship. You've been to 3 of them. You've been to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying get rid of Kyle.
Right.
But if you're going to continue to have a conversation surrounding the quarterback, the elite of the elite coaches, they figure it out eventually. Andy Reid had to move on from Philadelphia before he got Patrick Mahomes. And then what? And then he was the guy, right?
Yep.
Bill Belichick, he had to move on from the Browns until he got Tom Brady. And that was his guy.
You can't hate on Brock Purdy after what he did last season. In 7 games, including the playoffs. I mean, the guy threw 16 touchdown passes, only 4 picks. All right?
Bonte,
he threw the pick against the Raiders. He bounced back, helped them win in overtime.
I hope Jade's not listening. I lost some money because I thought they were winning the NFC Championship game because of Brock Purdy.
He doesn't take sacks.
Love you, honey. It wasn't that much.
He got the ball out. He threw the ball away. Did he have a couple of no throws? Of course, every quarterback does. But what Brock Purdy did was so damn impressive. He was so good. Here's how much of a hater of Brock Purdy I am. He was so good, and I hate Brock Purdy so much, I still picked the Niners to go to Philadelphia and win that football game.
You went there. Bonte, you and Joe went there. Do you go to Philadelphia in a playoff environment thinking you're going to lose?
No.
No.
I don't.
No, hell no.
Well, Shasky's a different breed.
He is.
I mean, I saw Shasky before the Dallas game because I don't feel good like this. I don't feel good about this game.
He's just like me.
And I'm just like, dude.
He's just like me.
Get the hell out of here.
There's an opening drive touchdown. Game's over.
Game's
They're
over.
done.
Yeah, you guys. I don't watch football with you guys no more. I can't watch football with you.
I don't think you've ever watched a Raider game with me. God bless you. You don't want to either.
Yeah, no, I don't.